So, The Sims 4 is threatening us with yet another Sims kit, and honestly, I'm tired. You may be wondering, what's wrong with a modern menswear kit? Haven't we been asking for more menswear? Isn't it good to push style boundaries with skirts for men? Well, that's the problem. Yes, we have been asking for more clothing made for masculine Sims, and personally, I have been wishing for skirts and dresses that are actually made to fit Sims with the so-called masculine body type. Which again, there's a lot of issues there. I talk about some of the frame issues in my videos about the nail polish update, but at some point I'll probably make a whole video about just how much The Sims 4 is failing trans, intersex, and gender non-conforming players. But instead of fixing these issues with clothing already in the game, instead of adding new assets for masculine Sims in the base game, or changing or updating how they make the bigger expansion in game packs to actually include more clothes for masked Sims in the first place, they are selling us a few pieces of clothing for $5. Possibly more, depending on conversion rates and prices where you live. So let's look at the pack announcement, and then I'll show you some of the problems in the game that still haven't been fixed. Here we have the official announcement of the new Modern Menswear kit from The Sims 4 itself. Now, I will link these articles down in the description, but as you'll see, I have some issues with them. So we start off with, The Sims has always been a creative destination where players come to express themselves, discover new experiences, and play with life. Sometimes in spite of what we're actually given in the game, custom content creators definitely play a big part in actually allowing players to express themselves and, actually represent our lives, which is still not possible in a lot of ways in The Sims 4, but alright, we're being optimistic, I guess. And then they explain, to further empower players to find new and expressive paths to self-discovery, and to deliver on the promise of providing more contemporary menswear options. Okay, so you promise to provide more contemporary menswear options, so you're doing that with a $5 kit that's separate from everything else in the game. Right, okay. So definitely not a cash grab then, because you promised. The Sims worked with the British Fashion Council, a not-for-profit organization supporting British design talent, and championing responsible and creative businesses to further strengthen British fashion around the globe. Am I the only one that's getting imperialism red flags from this? Strengthen British fashion around the globe? Is there a lack of British fashion around the globe? Has there not been enough of a British mark around the globe? Because I feel like there is. I don't know, I find that a bit sketchy about strengthening British fashion around the globe. But anyways, so they're going to Simify, an up-and-coming menswear brand, and help stretch style boundaries with its next fashion kit. That's another thing, stretching style boundaries. That's how they've marketed this kit. Before we even knew what it was, they were just this new kit will help you defy style boundaries. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at these pictures and I don't... Where? This isn't revolutionary. It's not whoa, look, these two people, they have this one has a very plain white skirt under a white t-shirt over jeans. And this one has it's a tunic type thing over pants. I'm sorry, what style boundaries are you defying? Men have been wearing skirts all around the globe for a lot of human history. It's not some big new thing. It's cool. They're kind of cool outfits, but I'm sorry. I don't think you're stretching or defying style boundaries here. And if there are style boundaries, they're ones implemented by the Sims. They're not ones that have to exist in the game, yet they do. And that's not just a thing that happened. It's the result of choices made by the people creating the game. So anyways, they go on to explain this kit is based on a line by Stephen Cook and partner Jake Burt. And Cook explains the brand is about redefining masculinity. We always try to be authentic and without excluding anyone. We're about redeveloping and refining old ideas, but making them incredibly modern. See, I do like that. I like that they're recognizing that some of these are not some new thing. This men wearing skirts is not revolutionary necessarily. And then he says, and pushing that idea to the point that it transcends things like gender. So here's what I don't get. If the point is transcending things like gender, why is the kit called Modern Menswear Kit? If we're transcending gender, why are these clothes made for a specific gender? Why are we focused on, we need to make a kit of these clothes specifically as menswear for men? Why couldn't they just make clothing that defies style boundaries and make it fit Sims with any frame? Instead, couldn't they make it universal design so that anyone can use it, any sim can use it. That seems like that would be the best way to transcend things like gender, Or again, like taking things that already exist in the game and making it so that they work for sims of lots of body types. And then it goes on to say this kit consists of 23 pieces, all of which are simified recreations of real-world Stephen Cook collections. The garments range from the traditional to the revolutionary, masculine to effeminate, and fusions of them all. I take issue with this as well. I already said, traditional to revolutionary. Pants are not traditional and skirts are not revolutionary. It's not, I have a feeling that's how they were trying to frame this. This fashion isn't that revolutionary. It's cool. It's not that revolutionary, I'm sorry to say. But also, masculine to effeminate. Now, effeminate is usually a pejorative word. It's not, unless someone's reclaiming it, and full power to you if you want to reclaim that word, but it's not generally used lovingly or as a celebration. It's used to shame people or look down on them for how they dress. So why is this the term we're using here rather than feminine? Or also why do you have to say, masculine to effeminate? It just seems weird. And I also looked it up and I can't find anywhere that Stephen Cook described his own pieces as effeminate. I don't see that anywhere. So this seems like it's whoever wrote this article just decided that was a good word to use here. There's no I can't find an author of this article or anything, so I don't know who made it, but I take a lot of issue with their choice of words. I'm gonna be honest. And then it goes on to say, there's jackets, trousers, suits, and shoes, as well as some of the designer's favorite pieces. So there's menswear, there's traditional menswear. And guess what? There's a coat with a skirt. Whoa, it perfectly encapsulates the evolution of modern menswear. Why? If we're transcending gender boundaries, why are we here's all the manly man masculine things? Oh yeah, and there's a skirt. Isn't that revolutionary? There's a skirt. All right, cool. Also I noticed in both of these pictures that they did to show off the clothes, the people wearing skirts are in the background. These three are in the foreground. They're all wearing pants, and this one wearing a skirt is in the background. That's weird to me. That's very strange to me. It's are they still trying to hide this? What's happening? And then I do honestly, I'm not really upset at the fashion designers, Burt and Cook. They seem, they have a good intentions. Their fashion seems fine or whatever. It's not for the average person. It's super expensive, but okay, whatever. But the way that the Sims team has been marketing this and implementing it is just puts a bad taste in my mouth, but yeah, it says Burt and Cook are excited for the self-exploration that their kit will inspire. Burt says, I hope people become more explorative with what they're wearing, especially if they're guys. I think it's a good thing if people feel more comfortable and unafraid to wear what they want to wear. Right, and it would also be great if people could wear what they want to wear. If they could have clothes that would fit them well to wear what they want to wear in both, in the physical world and in the Sims, to have clothes made for them that fit them. And Cook says, fashion can be about identifying as part of something, but also as your own person. It's both for community and individualism. I think that's a pretty cool outlook on it. I like that. And Cook says, that's why fashion is so amazing. It can be the slightest thing, and it can really change how you feel about yourself or what you want to put across to the world. So yeah, honestly, the best parts of this article are just the quotes from the designers. The rest of it, no thank you. And now, real quick, I wanted to look at this Vogue article, which I think is kind of hilarious. It's whoever was writing this was let's just throw every online buzzword we can get into this thing. I don't care. I don't need to know about The Sims or how it works. I don't need to know what any of these words mean, but I'm just going to put them in there because people will click on it because they're ooh, this is the hot buzzword. But this article is titled, Stephen Cook Enters the Metaverse with a Collection for The Sims, which, on reading this article, when they say the Metaverse, it's because, they're talking about Meta, how Facebook has recently rebranded to Meta, whatever, but, that doesn't, what does The Sims have to do with Facebook? Do they know that The Sims isn't online? You can't really, play The Sims, online with other people. It's not, you don't play it on Facebook. And then there's just some really weird, Gucci is releasing an Xbox. Also, the way they use URL in this, The closest an emerging or independent brand typically gets to URL style is Michaela. Like, what does URL style mean? Is that a thing? And then, Stephen Cook is shaking up the metaverse monopoly with a new collection for The Sims. It's a weird way to say it. But this is the best part. Turning the IRL into the URL came with design challenges. I'm sorry. Do they know that The Sims, the URL, like, there's not a URL when you're playing The Sims. It's not, there's, like, the only URL that these designs are going to be on is this website right now, like, right? Like, that's the URL. The Sims doesn't. Anyways, I'm sure they were like, ooh, I have the best idea for, like, a sentence. It doesn't make sense, but cool. Anyways, I didn't want to show this article just to, like, laugh at their phrasing, but I wanted to point out this part. So, when Cook and Bert showed up to an early meeting with ideas for show-stopping, over-the-top looks, they were surprised to learn that the Sims players want wearable garments. Yes, even for their virtual selves. We picked the craziest stuff because we thought players would want to wear showpieces, explains Bert. But hearing that Sims players could have holdups about wearing something too dramatic in the game, I realized that mindset of our physical customers applies to the game too. People want to feel more comfortable and like themselves. So, I don't know, I could see, like, how there's some truth to this. Like, it is nice to have, like, actually wearable things. But I also sort of get the sense that the Sims team was like, whoa, dial it back. Like, we said modern menswear. We didn't mean, like, modern menswear. Don't be so elaborate. Like, we're trying to keep it on the down low, Like, I don't know, how much it changed, but I don't know. What are your opinions on this? Do you think this is true? Like, we'd rather have wearable garments? Or do you think that just kind of leads to, like, the dulling down of this stuff to where they're like, oh, there's skirts for men, and they're, like, super simple and boring? I don't know. I mean, it's nice to have usable things, but this just sort of stood out to me as like, so the Sims team was like, hey, tone it down. Tone it way down, that does seem a little sketchy to me. All right, now into the game so I can show you a few of these issues up close. Here I have a male sim with a masculine physical frame and all of that stuff. It's just kind of how the game presets it. And you can see he's wearing a dress and the hands sort of clip right through, right? Now, if I change the physical frame to feminine, suddenly the dress seems to fit a lot better. And it's like the stance kind of makes more sense with the dress. Now, yes, this dress is tagged for feminine Sims, not masculine frame Sims, but these tabs over here like make you think that you could have a separate, clothing preference doesn't have to match physical frame or to the gender setting up here. But the problem is that if you do mix it up, it doesn't work right. Also, take notice of just how much this changes when I just change the physical frame, right? Look at how much the sim changes. Like, look at how much just the face changes. So, like, completely different bone structure in the face. The feminine one is, like, much smaller. The nose itself gets, like, it, like, changes shape. The whole shape of the face changes. And you can adjust this some with sliders, but, like, these presets have a big impact on what your sim will end up looking like. Also, of course, there's like a thicker neck, broader shoulders. There's, of course, on the feminine sim, the waist goes in a lot and the hips go out a lot, and also the legs and arms get a lot smaller. And it bothers me that there's all this such an assumption. This is like to the extremes, right? Like how much this waist has gone in here. It's very just like an unhealthy fixation on having a huge binary, a huge difference between like masculine and feminine Sims. And yeah, a lot of the dresses and the skirts just don't look as good on Sims with a masculine frame. There are a few things that are kind of like skirts that are tagged masculine, which you'll notice there's several from the Island Living pack. There's this one that I think probably came in like the update before the Fashion Street kit. And, I have some CC in my game to have specifically skirts that actually work on masculine Sims. And then there was actually like a little skirt tagged as masculine in the Incheon Arrivals kit as well. But yeah, so that other than that, like, that's pretty much all that we have that's tagged as masculine for skirts. And now they can wear a lot of the feminine ones. It's just, sometimes there's clipping issues. It doesn't quite work. And that's what I don't understand is why everything still has to be like tagged either masculine or feminine. Why can't more of the clothes be made to fit all body types and to be unisex? Like a lot of them aren't. And when they are unisex, it's more often like the masculine tagged clothes also work as feminine. It's not as often that the clothes that look more feminine are also tagged as masculine. Oh, there's also this like Roman gladiator type costume, and I thought that was interesting because notice how this is sort of a skirt. So like I was saying, skirts not traditional, skirts on men aren't traditional. I don't know. I don't think that's true. And as we saw, there was all those skirts from like Island Living, and just because in certain cultures it's seen as like wrong for men to wear skirts doesn't mean that that's some sort of like all tradition has always dictated that. No, it's actually a rather recent thing. I also wanted to point out some of the binary assumptions of this whole like gender, custom gender settings thing. Right now, the sim is counted as male, and so we can have facial hair. Okay, cool, I can have facial hair. But what happens when I click female? Oh, well, the facial hair is gone, and now we have boobs. And like you can do some adjusting, but you can't like completely get rid of the boobs, and you can't have facial hair. There's no option for facial hair if the sim is marked as female. And this is also problematic because these two things are tied to like the pronouns that will be used for your sim and what other sims will call you. So like if if it's male, it'll be he, him, it'll be brother and boyfriend and father and that sort of thing. Or if it's female, it'll be she, her and girlfriend and sister. So, there's no way to have a sim that uses she, her pronouns or has boobs and also has facial hair. Or to have a sim that uses he, him pronouns and has his boobs or whatever. Like, it's still very limiting. And in my other videos, I've also shown how, like, there tends to be a lot of glitches with with clothes and, like, with the new nails when you sort of mix up these physical frames and the, like, gender designation. So, yeah, I just, like, instead of making a whole new separate kit that we have to buy so that men can wear skirts, like, maybe they could just make it where, all, like, the clothes in the game already actually work well for sims regardless of their body type, and like give us more options for customizability that aren't so binary. But it feels to me like they're only concerned about giving off the perception of inclusion and acceptance, and only in subtle ways that transphobic and queerphobic players can safely ignore. The Sims 4 wants to include the aesthetics of queerness without grappling with the ways that allo-cis heteronormativity pervades the game. They can't be bothered to fix the mechanical issues that get in the way of queer simmers seeing ourselves in the game, but they can sell us a $5 pack of skirts, now for men. I think that I probably will make a video just going over all of the, like, different things that the Sims could do better for trans Sims, for intersex Sims, and gender nonconforming Sims, just sort of as like a total overview. So if you found this video informative and you'd like to see videos like that or any other videos I make, feel free to subscribe so you can see more of my videos, give this one a like. And I actually have a whole series where I create Sims based on different pride flags, and I create like houses based on the color scheme of different pride flags. So if you're interested in that, I'll link it up here as well, so you could go watch those, or some of my other commentary videos, like when I covered the way that the nails just don't really work right for trans Sims. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.